Thokozani bogogo nomkhulu. Again, I welcome you to Buyambo. We are still in the series that seek to call everyone to go back to their roots, learn about the importance of who they are before they embark into spirituality. We are still in the series that calls you to go back to what is important and leave what is not adding value to who you are as an African, let alone as a spiritual healer, as uMngoma, as umuntu owelapha abanye abantu ngokwendabuko. Welcome. I am Khulumanzolwandle. Bogogo nomkhulu, in this series of Buyambo, there are two sub-series like I explained the other time. We are still under the one that says, what is killing Ubungoma? Recap on the last topic. We said this awakening that we are seeing of everyone becoming Isangoma, it is killing Ubungoma on the basis that it is not managed properly. It is not monitored properly. It is also creating a chaos of everyone for themselves. People are developing rules as they go along. No one really calls anyone out. In the last video, we called people to say it is time that you raise your hand when you see something as uMngoma or as someone who loves Ubungoma or spirituality or indaba zesintu and say, Gogo or Mkulu or Wenabanbani or this organization or this podcast or this whatever it is, whether it's a TV show, if it is not helping us identify properly with Ubungoma and who we are, then it is contributing to the death of the image of Ubungoma. We can't allow that, Bogogo nomkhulu. We cannot allow that our ancestors' practices are killed, destroyed, tarnished by us as Abangoma, by people out there who are masquerading as Abangoma. Today, one of the topic that we are going to touch on is simple. What is killing Ubungoma? It is the fact that people are going through a process of iNtwaso without being properly aligned nemisamo yakibo. What do I mean? I am saying people who are going through iNtwaso without being properly connected or aligned with iMsamo or uMsamo waku. It is common. There are many people who go through iphehlo, yet the basics were never covered. The basics of understanding ukuthi ndingubani, ndihamba nobani, ndibizwe ngobani, bendibizelani. This basic as it might sound, that we are saying one should not go through a process of iphehlo if they have no knowledge of who they are, if they have not connected with iMsamo isiko lakibo kakuhle. This is why today we are saying this lack of connection or misalignment with uMsamo wakini, it is killing Ubungoma also. Why? Because we find a Sangoma, someone who have gone through the process, losing interest, ebungomeni, being confused about what is it exactly that they're supposed to be doing, simply because this person killed the very same foundation that they should have built their identity, who they are as Abangoma, on top of. Maybe let's explain something, maybe for the benefit of anyone who have not understanding what uMsamo is, because I understand, again, we are going to be predominantly speaking at the Nguni side of things, yet there are people who are coming from the other groups. When I say people are misaligned or not properly connected with uMsamo wakibo, I am referring to people who does not know isiko lasemakwabo. I am referring to people who has never gone through a process of rituals zakibo zenziwe kahle. I am referring to people who doesn't even maybe sometimes even know their identity at a cultural level. These people are supposed to attend to that first before they go through iphehlo. This is to avoid a problem at a later stage of their journey. Number 3, when we say uMsamo wakini you are misaligned with, we are referring to you not going through the processes of ukuphahlelwa ekhaya before you go to iphehlo. A process of you not going to so and so has been struggling with lo moya wamathongo for the longest of time. Siyamthuma ke ngoku sithi makahamba ayolungisa umoya ephehlweni. Someone wakes up from their flat and they come directly to Gobela. They have not gone through any discussions about hambanga bayophahla anywhere over a period of time. They have not even done anything that notifies amadlozi abo ukuthi I am about to go through iphehlo. This will end badly. With the years of being a Gobela, I've seen this, I've experienced it, and I am looking at things now and saying, guys, maybe what is also needed now from a Gobela perspective is to say, we are not going to put this person through this process if they don't have anything and anyone that is going to vouch for them from a cultural perspective. Because tomorrow when something goes wrong, this person was iphehlo like it didn't go right. This person is going to claim uGobela unvalile. This person is going to claim all type of things, only to find out what was missing. We should have looked at deeper. Is this person properly connected namadlozi azowatwasa amathonga kibo? I said I'm going to explain indaba uMsamo. uMsamo, we are now in this context referring to amathongo, your people that gave birth to your people, which is your parents, your grandparents, and all of that. We are talking about your blood lineage. There are amasiko of your home, of your family, of ekhaya. There are ways your family connects with amadlozi abo in notifying them of important things. Ngulo uMsamo lengikhuluma ngawo. When I say you are misaligned with it, I am saying you've packed and left to iphehlo, and there was no one yokuphahlela ekhaya. There was no one wokubikela ekhaya. No one even handed you over kwaGobela. This is very tricky, because it can, not always, it can create a problem later. It is killing Ubungoma because this is one of the important checks and balances that we must do as Gobela before welcoming someone to iphehlo. If we just take the person who is coming and we don't check beyond that, then we are killing that person and we are setting them up for failure in the future. That's why out of 10 people abathwasayo, 2 or 3 will commit to their calling. This is one of the biggest contributors to that fallout. Yet unfortunately, when that fallout happens, even people that they go and hlola on after iphehlo, they don't tell them the truth. They don't tell them that, no man, there was a problem here. No one, whether let's say family is not behind you or family is not supportive, you have not taken time. Uhambe uyehlanu uyophahla, uhambe uye entabeni uyophahla, uhambe uye emanzini uyophahla, and bikela the people that are calling you and forcing you through life circumstances to go through iphehlo. Ukuthi, I'm having a problem. I don't have a family. I was adopted, or I grew up in an orphanage. I don't know my identity, but I am here, I am here to call upon all of you who have now been forcing me to go through iphehlo to become a healer. I am telling you that I have decided I am going to take up umsebenzi wenu. Please be with me throughout the journey. That is the remedy when you do not have family members, when everything else is without support. Today, we are working with people that come to iphehlo themselves. Some will make it, some will be committed, yes. But most of them, they lose it because they didn't have even the foundation that they needed in order to understand what is it that they're going to go through, what is expected of them as a sangoma. We are now sitting with a problem of a Sangoma who's behaving in a way that is unbecoming. And this is one of the reasons we failed to take care of the foundation before this person comes through iphehlo. Question is simple here. Mkhulu, I do not have parents. My family that actually brought me up, bangabazalwane. How then do I connect with uMsamo? How then do I then align properly with uMsamo? Let's take the scenario of this person. Of course, this person is not going to be able to go to any Msamo, a canteen, or uMsamo, or ayobikelwe ekhaya, or kuyophahlwa ekhaya, every parents zibike. It's not going to happen because of the situation they find themselves in. But the Gobela that is about to take them in must check few things. Number one, le mimoya ibiza lengane iyaziveza na kuyo, not wena Gobela. No one must go through iphehlo when le mimoya emphakamelayo yena ingaveli kuye. That's number one. No one must go through iphehlo when le mimoya embizayo yena ingamhlukumezi, ungabi content kuye. Now the time has come. You've seen all the signs. Time has come for you to take up umsebenzi. That person must not go. The Gobela checks that. The Gobela then checks isimo samadlozi amathonga hamba nawo. It's the Gobela's duty. You must check ukubana if lengane I'm putting them through this process, am I not going to deal with difficulties of amadlozi or amathonga kibo complaining ukuthi ufunani lana, uze kanjani lana. Also, the Gobela needs to check another thing. Does this person have a comprehension of what is it that they're about to do? Because if you don't check this as a Gobela, you are going to sit with the problem of initiating someone and then tomorrow they don't even know why they went through the process. Then they come up with all sort of excuses as to why they are no longer wanting to be Sangoma. Only because they disconnected with uMsamo wakibo. Can you see the danger now? Let's take another scenario. Someone ulana ekhaya, idlozi liyamhlupa. Atshela abazali ukuthi I need to go to iphehlo. I've been consulting over the years or over a period of time. Now I think this thing is really getting to me to understand that my time is now. The family says we are not supporting that. We are not going to support that for whatever the reason. This person forces ways and end up Gobela on their own. Without the blessing of their family, without uphahlela family, without ubikelwe family, you are going to deal with the problem later. Because if nothing is done, if nothing is done by the family, you have a responsibility to go to sacred sites. Not today, because tomorrow you are going to iphehlo. Not this week, because next week you are going to iphehlo. Over a period of time. Uphahla amadlozi, ubika, ucela guidance, ucela support, usisho ukuthi I know everyone have ignored you. I am taking up umsebenzi wenu, but I'm going to need your blessing. I'm going to need your support because I'm about to go to iphehlo without the support or even ukubikwa ekhaya. What are you doing by doing that? You are now saying, even if the family doesn't want to do it, and you have engaged the family thoroughly, I'm not talking about you mentioning it once in passing and they oppose and you says, oh, okay, I will do it my way. No, 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 no. I am referring to someone who have engaged their family properly and the family remained opposed. Then they decide themselves without influence ka Gobela or pressure from the Gobela. They decide it is time now that I take my journey. So it means then I am going to depend on these ancestors that have called me. Lamatongo koko basekaya. Then let me go to them. Notify them. Give them a report of where I find myself, the confusion I find myself, and ask them to help me as I'm about to walk this path. That will work. So Gobela then can never say, I just accept people who are saying they are ready for iphehlo. I just accept people who are prepared to pay the financial burden of iphehlo. No. We are still going to touch to that. The mistakes of Gobela make that are also contributing to ukufa kobungoma. For today, we are talking about someone who is not connected to uMsamo wakhe, the source of this gift, and yet they go through iphehlo. Tomorrow they are surprised when amadlozi awaphakami, when kube ngaboni nix, when kungenzeki anything. This, what we are mentioning today, it is one of the biggest reasons why. Now, this is a situation where people will say, yes, ndibikiwe ekhaya, yes, sibikile, sahlaba siyahlaba ekhaya, depending wesiko lakini, azofika kwaGobela. And uGobela uyamamkele sangweni, there is someone omphahlela yomnikezelayo. But the Gobela then also makes a mistake and not make sure that they connect these initiates with uMsamo wakhe yena Gobela, meaning uGobela bikela wakhe amadlozi after the entry. Gobela making sure that these kids go to the sacred places, beyophahla, to make sure that they're giving an announcement that ngilana banbakiti, in case there's anyone who didn't come forward when besibike ekhaya or bengibike entabeni or kupinapi, ngicela ukuthi nabo basondele, because we are about to start the journey of ukuphehlwa, which is the becoming. If the Gobela doesn't take these kids to these places, if the Gobela does not have a program that cleanses lamadlozi, if the Gobela doesn't have a program that reconnects lamadlozi alengane la ibizile, if the Gobela doesn't take these kids to sacred places, everything start and end in their house, then again you are going to have another problem, because you as a Gobela, you are not family to these kids. Udila nemisamo eminingi. You need to be introduced properly yourself as to who you are. The practice at its best, the Gobela is supposed to go ayophahla ekulengane ezawungena ephehlweni, ephahla uMsamo wakhona, ebika ukuthi yena ungubani, uzawuthatha umsebenzi wokukhulisa lengane ngokomoya. For whatever reason, it is impossible to do, but it would have been the best solution. Now that you didn't go to ekulengane uyobika ukuthi wena ungubani, and ingane iza emzini wakho izothwasa, you have an obligation to make sure that in the first few days and first few weeks of ezingane zingena, hamba makuyiwe to the sacred places, makuyiwe emanzini, mabahlanjulule labantwana, makuhlanjulule amathongo, kuhlanjulule izikhwama zabo. That way we are dealing with the foundation of ubunyanga babantwana babantu. We are making sure that as they are about to take off and become izangoma, we are not leaving the people that actually call them behind. It is important as a Gobela to understand this obligation also, that you are responsible for ensuring that each and every person that comes through your doors is actually connected to amasiko nezithethe zakibo, connected to uMsamo. So we are having all of these dynamics ebunyangeni. Everyone is busy, everyone is doing different things. We are taking too many shortcuts that are later catching up with ubunyanga bomuntu. We are having so many problems with abantu who actually bathwasile, but we are realizing ukuthi bakhutshule imimoya, then amathonga asala ngasemuva, or they remain with complaints and nothing was done. How are we then expecting this person to actually become isangoma that is going to do great things out there? It is close to impossible. There are situations where it happens. But I can tell you now, majority will fall by the wayside. If they don't fall by the wayside, they will behave in a way that is bringing shame and disgrace to ubunyanga, even ubunyanga basemakwabo. Give me someone who has deliberately neglected uMsamo wakibo. Gobela did not even try to make sure that that is corrected. Bahambe bayothwasa. Now there is Zangoma. Show me that person and show me how are they doing. In life, generally, to ebungomeni, ebunyangeni. Show me how are they doing. Why is it important to make sure that the foundation, which is uMsamo or amathongakini, is well aligned with you before you go to iNtwaso? Number one, awubizwanga ngugobela eNtwasweni, ubizwe ngamathongakini. Number two, nothing will work, not magobongo, not any muti, if amathongakini are the ones who are complaining about how you are or how you ended up ephehlweni. Nothing will work. You'll have problems, one after another. Sometimes babuyeke, and then right after you are done, and then they start dealing with you. It was you who's an initiator when iNtwaso ebekade uhlutshwa yimimoya yakini, not kwaGobela. uGobela just then had to receive you and help to mold you, activate, purify, alungise lamathonga ahlaseke kahle, alungise lemimoya ikwazi usebenza. That is the job kaGobela. But the Gobela can never replace uMsamo wakini, even if they want to. Hence it is important when sikhuluma ngemimoya yokwelapha umnguno, whatever it is, we must not forget amathongo, because once we talk ngedlozi, we have to make sure that amathongo, who are the custodians of this gift, are actually in order. Failing which, you are going to become a useless sangoma. I'm sorry to say the language. But you will be useless ebungomeni, and it will translate to your personal life becoming chaotic itself. Because you've missed the key element, which is the connection with uMsamo again. It took me personally, Manzolwane, 6 years. I always tell everyone this story. Before I went to ephehlweni, ngilungisa indaba zomsamo. Indaba zesiko, indaba zesintu zasekhaya, because unfortunately I came from a families that were actually deciding to make sure that they leave ubunyanga and everything behind for a very long time, sometimes even leave isintu sabo behind. So there was so much I needed to do before I go to ephehlweni, both maternal and paternal. There was so much lineage tracing I needed to do. There was so much aligning of amadlos I needed to do. There was so much cleansings and ukushweleza and all of these things that needed to be done. Long 6 years, no jokes, no child's play. 6 years in no child's play. That's how long it took me. Hence today I stand firm saying I can never betray my calling, because I connected with uMsamo wasekhaya long before I said I'm going to iphehlo ngiyoba isangoma. I understood that this gift, it is not given to me by uGobela. It is a gift my people chosen to trust me with. Hence I will never be able to destroy them. I can never destroy them. I can never destroy it. I can never betray it. I will forever stand for what is right according to my ancestors, not according to anyone else's view. We're having a situation also begogo nomkhulu. Someone said, ngingumlanjwana, ndingumntana entombi. So it means then my paternal side has no claim kumo. There are two scenarios here. I am uMlanjwana myself. I was born and raised on my maternal side. Although my early years, my first 2 years, I was at my paternal side and my father died. That's a story for another day. But basically then my mother went back home, and that's where I grew up. And that's what I knew, and that's who I knew myself to be, which is everything maternal. When indaba yobunyanga nendaba zesintu started cropping up in my life, I had a responsibility, because ngingane ngumfana, to make sure that I go to my father's side of the family. I knew exactly who they are, where they stay, who my father was. All of that story I grew up knowing. I had to walk a journey that took me to my father's side of the family. And that's where I was fixing uMsamo. That's where I was looking at things and deeper listening to amadlozi and doing what is right. So the fact that ndingumntana entombi and I grew up in my maternal side had no bearing on anything. the guidance of amadlozi angibizile, I had to listen to it. So when I goes out, lamadlozi, they do not have a claim on you. That is if they are not the ones who are calling you. We have a problem of people who are called by amadlozi akulo baba wabo. Just because they grew up in their maternal side, they then claim that I will not attend to that thing because lamadlozi had no claim on me. And then they find a Gobela who then plays into that and say, no, we will focus on your maternal side. Hey, you will kill ubunyanga babengane yabantu Gobela. It will never work like that. It is always advised that make sure that at the spiritual level, all ancestors, maternal and paternal, are in sync. And when uzaba umngoma, you need to pay attention. Ukuthi eliphi side that is pulling you more. In my case, it was my paternal side. It is my paternal side that is leading ubunyanga up like high. Yet labantu, they never kuthiwa mina ngeke kwenzela isiko labo ngisemncane or ngikhulele khona. But because they are the ones who trusted me with this kwama so esikhokhela ubunyanga la ekhaya, I had to go and fix everything from the relationship between my maternal and paternal to even the spiritual relationship. That's why I was avoiding uMsamo, isiko, isintu sami, to catch up with me and mess up ubunyanga, and I end up being a disgrace and an embarrassment to amadlozi angibizile. Yes, you can be umlanjwana and be called by your father's side. And there you have no choice. I don't care what the Gobela says. You have no choice. You're going to have to make sure that you fix things that needs to be fixed. And esas kwama will remain your paternal side of his kwama. Your maternal side and your paternal side must work together. It means that all of that must be corrected. Yes, you can be umlanjwana and abantu bakulo baba bangabi na claim kuwe ibe ngabakulo mama bodwa bakuhambela phambili. That is also correct. You can have that, and that's why I say to you, if you are going to become umngoma, you have to pay attention to those details. Who is calling me? What are they calling me for? And how am I with them? Lo madlozi lawo. Hence, you cannot do anything without letting them know. You cannot do anything without ubapahla. In a case where uphakanyelwa by both sides, you have to do what I did, because my maternal side, Ubungoma, hey, huge. But they were not the ones abangiphakamelayo. But I had to make sure that they are also taken care of. Their things are also done properly, to avoid a conflict of amatongo, a conflict of lamadlozi nemimoya. Then tomorrow my life becomes a mess because amadlozi cannot speak in one voice. So what are we saying, Bogogo Nomkhulu? It is important to make sure that isintu nesiko sakini is taken care of properly before uye ephehlweni. It is important that your family is behind you, and at least let them say, we hear you, but we don't support. Then you take it up to emadlozi nakini, amathonga kini. There are ways these things can be done. Uhambe ukwenzela ukuthi impilo yakho ingonakali because you are called and you don't know how to connect nomsamo wakini. Because if you ignore umsamo wakini or idlozi leli amathonga kubizile, you are going to become a sangoma that does not produce any good results. You are going to become a sangoma that even where they produce good results, they are the worst human beings. Because when uhamba ne confusion in your life, uhamba nombango wamathongo, awehlulelwanga amathongo akho kukhanya na obubi. Akukhanye kuthiwe akususwe nemidliwa kuwe, uhamba nayo yonke into. Why? Because umsamo wakini usakhala ngawe. You were never connected. There was nothing ever even reported, and that's why you will always have problems in this path yobunyanga. Make sure whatever you do, Gogo Nomkhulu, before you take up the journey of becoming umngoma, take up the journey of correcting isintu nesiko lakini. Thokozani.